Hello, everyone. Um, please confirm you can hear me by dropping a comment. I can see your comment if you're dropping one. Um, so please confirm you can hear me. Let me know I'm not talking to myself. Drop comments if you can. So I need to be sure that you're hearing me before we start. So drop comments on the chat. All right. Thank you, Olakunle. I can see Olakunle's comment. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right, hi everyone. My name is Adewale Adeyinka. Some of you already know me. Thank you, Glory. Yes, I'm glad you can all hear me. All right, my name is Adewale Adeyinka. Software engineer as well as a system architect. Right. The goal of Brightlet technology as a whole is to ensure that money is not a limitation in the way of you equipping yourself with the right skills you need to get a job and make a better life for yourself, right? And the goal is not even to get a job. The main goal is to solve a problem and using whatever tool you prefer to solve the problem. So it's the goal of this stream is just to, or this stream is just to open your eyes to the possibility of you um, seeing yourself in a few years' time and seeing that yes, it's possible for me to also excel in these skills I've chosen, right? So whether you're a product manager, a project manager, um, a product designer, Web3 designer, whatever, it's possible, right? And that's the goal of the webinar, right? If you have friends that you like them to join, I'll give you like a minute, share the link on your status, WhatsApp status, on your groups, and let them know that, this is what people pay thousands of dollars for, right? The people I'm bringing in are not just normal people, as you can see, right? So there are people that have excelled in this skill and in their field of study, and they want to show you how they did it, right? So don't be stingy. Share this link with your friends that you know. Share this link with your family members, and let them join the live stream. So I'll be bringing them on board, and yeah. All right. So yeah. So I have two special guests with us this evening. Some of us already saw um, the flyer, and you've seen their niche and what they do, right? And some of you have looked them up on LinkedIn, some of you have looked them up on their social media platforms just to see the kind of person they are. And I can assure you that you won't regret being a part of this, right? So I have Mofe with me here. Mofe is software engineer. Um, he's he switched from, okay, I won't say switched, right? His background was in law. So I met like three or four people when we're doing the free training that mentioned to me that they are lawyers and they want to get into product management. I think another lawyer said she wants to get into business analysis, and she was kind of like, is it possible? Then the third lawyer said he wants to get into software engineering. I was kind of like, oh, I know a few people that have done it before and it's possible, right? So Mofe is one of them. At least I met him I think like 2 years ago, and this is also part of my story because one way or the other, some of the things I know today, I learned them from him one way or the other. Whether I notices or not, I don't know, but yeah, that's the truth, right? And I also have Moyosore here. Moyosore Dua is a technical project manager. His background was in hydrology, and he has also shown and proved that it's possible to transition from one niche into niche. He's a successful technical project manager. I've worked with him before, and when you say someone is good in what he does, right, I can tell you that yes, he is, because yeah, we've worked together and I've seen some of what he has done. Some said he's echoing. Is it just from your end or is everywhere? Right. So without much ado, I will be starting with Mofe, right? He will just be introducing himself again to us. I've introduced him, but yeah, just to give us a background as to, so when they say who is Mofe, within the next 3 to 4 minutes, it's just more like tell us who he is before we start asking the question. Once it's done, Moyosori can now also proceed. All right. Hi, Mofe.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Like I said, my name is Mofe. I'm a software engineer. I'm currently based in the UK here, and I work with Amazon. Um, like you also mentioned, I didn't start as a software engineer. I I trained as a lawyer, like 5 years, like 1 year law school, and after that, I transitioned from also practice for a year. Like I did the whole law thing, contracts, all those movements, stuff like that. Practice for a year, and I realized that okay, look, this isn't what I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing. So I sort of transitioned from law to software engineering, and that's pretty much my story, I guess. Like it has just been upward and forward since there.
All right. Thank you so much, Mufe. That was quite enlightening. Thank you so much. Moyosore, Udua, you can go next. So just a quick background.
Okay. I hope I'm audible. Can everyone hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. Just like Adewale introduced me, my name is Moyosore Hassan. I am a Scrum Master Project Manager. I have a background in geography. I've been someone that always tended towards nature. I have a master's degree in hydrology. I'm also a practicing hydrologist as well. And I basically wanted to express myself in other fields. So I decided to take up Scrum Mastery and project management as a different side to who I am. Thank you very much. Studied University of Lagos in Nigeria, and I'm here today as a project manager and also a Scrum Master. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Mofe and Moyosore Udua. Thank you so much for that. Yes, so what we did was more like before the webinar, we more like throughout survey for people to fill in questions they might want to ask you. And yeah, just so you know, this is going to be like a bi-monthly thing. So it's not more like just a one time thing. No, it's going to be twice in a month. We'll be bringing in different people from different part of the world. As you heard Mofe say, Mofe is not in Nigeria currently, he's in the UK working with Amazon, right? And Moyosore is currently in Nigeria working in one of the top firms in Nigeria. So yeah, the goal is we're going to be bringing in more people to come talk to you and make you see the possibility of um, yes, you too can do it, right? And yeah, so we tried survey like last week, it's more like get questions that people might want to ask, and I'm just going to be asking those questions. But please, if you're not following us on YouTube, this is an opportunity for you to just subscribe. Sorry, follow. I'm so used to follow because I do more of Instagram live. Yeah. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that now. Thank you very much. Yes. So the first question I have is for Mofe. So this lady is asking, Bukola from Canada, Ontario, Canada, is asking, how did you manage the transition from your previous field to tech? Yeah, so that question is for Mofe. Bukola wants to know how you manage the transition from your previous field to tech.
Um, to be honest, I just did it. Like, there's no. I hope you guys can hear me. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Mofe, we can, loud and clear.
Okay,
Yes, we
okay,
can hear
okay.
you.
Yeah, so there's no like any specific set process. It was
Yes, we
something
can hear
that
you.
it was something that I had always been interested in. And I realized that, okay, look, doing this law thing 9 to 5 is not what I want to do in my life. So I just dove right in, to be honest. Uh, I started web development, which is like the where almost everyone starts with. Yeah. And it was pretty much trying stuff out on YouTube. I watched a lot of tutorials. I did a lot of courses on Udemy. I did a lot of stuff by myself, and I just kept practicing and practicing. And then I realized, that, okay, yeah, this thing isn't particularly difficult. But something I was able to do. And I think one thing that really helped me was COVID, like during the whole lockdown, because everybody was at home. And I had like a lot of free time because my law firm, since I was at home, there wasn't really much for me to do. So everyone just kind of left me to do what I wanted to do. So I kind of used that time to like lock in, like I locked in, and then decided that okay, look, I actually wanted to pursue this. I studied, did all that stuff. But I think the biggest contributing factor was finding a community for of people that actually wanted to do something similar, or people that were already doing something similar. And I think for me, that community was semicolon. Like literally everything I'm doing up to that point, I'm doing by myself, watching YouTube tutorials. And when you keep doing that, there's this tendency to kind of fall into tutorial hell where you just keep watching tutorials, never really do anything. But getting to that community of like-minded people actually helped me because they were the ones that actually gingered me that, have you tried this? Things that I didn't think of by myself, things that I didn't really know particularly existed. They opened my eyes to that. So that was pretty much that's pretty much how that helped.
All right, thank you very much. So Babatunde is asking a follow-up question here, just in 1 minute. He's asking that are you self-trained? But I think you already answered that in the course of
Yeah, yeah.
explaining.
I am self-trained. Like literally, I watch YouTube videos and Udemy courses. That was pretty much it. That's how I actually started. That's how like got like my first couple of gigs. Like they were like contract jobs and everything. Like it was based on the knowledge that I had learned that I actually used to do that. Then subsequently, I like I said, I found a community, and that community kind of helped me. Um, well, I say it's like 10x to my growth and everything. Because again, there's a limit to how far you can go by yourself. So I'm pretty much self-trained. Yeah.
All right, that's nice. Thank you so much, Mofe. Thank you for such an answer. Yes, so the next question is from Moyosore. This question is from Frank in Ghana. Frank is asking that he's trying to transition from um, he's trying to transition from engineering into technical project management. And the question he's asking is that what were the biggest challenges you faced while switching careers and how did you overcome them? What were the biggest challenges you faced while switching careers and how did you overcome them, if there were any at all? So these are, I think this question is kind of like deep. The question is kind of like deep, but yeah, is asking that okay, are there challenges when we're trying to switch or why switching career? So will I say it's a switch? Because yeah, I'll still call it a switch because right now you still practice in your field of study while still excelling in technical products or sorry projects management. So I think Frank in Ghana is just trying to understand if there are any challenges you faced while trying to switch. I think from what I hear Mofe say, um, the lockdown gave him more like an opportunity to deep dive or explore the space and more like get deep into it. I think that was that's part of what helped me also. The lockdown gave me an opportunity to more like just get into something because there was enough time to stay at home and figure things out. So in your own case, what was the biggest challenges you faced while switching careers and how did you overcome them?
Okay, so first of all, I would love to touch on the word transitioning. Uh, for me, it's I see it more like an opportunity to express yourself in various fields, various aspects of who you are as a person. So I wouldn't call it transitioning. I would call it more of I just decided to express and experience a different side of who I am, experience a different side of what I am. I mean, if you call me today, I'm always going to be a hydrologist. I'm always going to be a project manager. I'm always going to be a scrum master. Just it's just basically dependent on what side of Moyosore do you need me to express at various points in time. I mean, I just wanted to put that out there and make that clear. You asked, Frank asked, what challenges, and the truth is this: whichever sphere you find yourself, whichever position you find yourself in this plane of existence, you're always going to meet challenges. I mean, trying to do something you haven't done before. And the truth of the matter, it's really not challenges. It's just it's an opportunity for you to become better at whatever you do. It's this brick walls that sort of create grit, dexterity, patience, growth. So all of these things are the things that you have to experience in order for you to become an expert in your field. I think there's this saying where I think it was Bruce Lee or so. I didn't learn how to do 1,000 kicks. I just learned how to do one kick perfectly, and that one kick helped him in whatever battle or fight he was facing at that point in time. For me, uh, entering the tech world was new, and from the little knowledge I had about tech, it was most of my guys that were good in mathematics. And for someone like me, I was never perfect in maths. I would always look for an opportunity to run away from maths. So in my head, when I heard tech, it was here we go again, mathematics, engineering. I mean, that's not for me. That's not where I want to. And I would always shy away from anything tech related and run away from it. I remember my sister was one of the earliest agile practitioners that I ever came across, and she would always call me and say, "Ah, Moyo, you have these skills, you have these skill sets. Come and learn Scrum." And I'm like, man, all these tech people have come again, man. I'm not interested. I beg. Let me be in my nature. Let me experience mountains. Let me go swimming in the oceans. Let me sleep in the forest. I mean, you're taking me to map again. I'm not interested. And just like Mofe, and I smiled when Mofe was talking about it. He said COVID. COVID was also a very functional time in my life as well. I mean, we were all at home. I didn't have anything I was doing. We were relaxed from work. I mean, for me, I'm an environmentalist, and most times I'm on the field, and I'm stuck in my sitting room. And I'm like, you know what? My sister is always calling me, oh yeah, this scrum thing, this scrum thing. You know what? I picked up there was this scrum book I had. I downloaded it and I picked it up and I started to read. And reading about it, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me try it out. And like I mentioned earlier, just like any first time thing you're doing, you're scared, um, you're anxious. And we know how anxiety breeds about fear because, I mean, you're just running helter skelter for something you know nothing about. You're creating images in your head, brick holes in your head that aren't even in existence because you're anxious, you're scared. Can I survive? And like I mentioned earlier as well, this background knowledge that when people say tech, it's something huge, and I mean, you get lost in that bubble. You asked, what challenges did I face? Nothing really. For someone like me, I've always been inquisitive. I've always wanted to know more. I stepped into it, like I mentioned, read a couple of books about Scrum, read a couple of books about project management, and unlike Mofe, I underwent some training. I mean, I enrolled in one of these numerous online training classes. For me, I did what's it called? Um, DPD 360. I started out with DPD 360. I took the courses, I engaged in the classes, I met new people, and because of the system of training that was happening in that ecosystem, the trainers, the lecturers in that system made it very easy. They started out by allaying most of our fears, and they were very approachable. And if there was one thing I learned, it was emotional intelligence. One of the greatest skills that I picked up in that institution was emotional intelligence. And that made the rest of my journey easy. And I mean, what is emotional intelligence? You being able to put yourself in other people's emotions, being empathetic about other people, and knowing their pain points and understanding them and how you can put it, that's understanding of yourself and your emotions into use with other people. So I really didn't face any more challenge apart from fear. Like I said, because of the environment in which I was, it was easy for me to become a scrum master and express myself as a project manager as well. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Mario. Sorry, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've been seeing a lot of thank you here. So, yeah, probably later we'll drop to you. So, this question is for Mofe. Um, the question is: did your legal background give you any advantage in tech? This question is from Juliana in Lagos. So, she's asking that Juliana, just to give a context, she's a lawyer. She just completed her law school last year. Yeah, I think I chatted with her last week. So the question she's asking is: did your legal background give you any advantages in tech? And if there, and this question is for me actually. Ufa is nothing to say like. All right, if there aren't, then it's also fine. Yeah, it's just a question someone asked.
Uh, so I don't think so. I genuinely do not think like it gave me any specific advantages. Um, it just is what it is. I mean, they're like two completely separate like domains. Do you get? So like one is law. Do you get? The other one is like tech. Particularly the part of the type of tech that I do, that's software engineering. That's actually like writing code. Like law as a subject doesn't particularly give you
Yeah.
any like advantages. I think like one thing that maybe helped was as a lawyer, you're trained to, will I say, analyze stuff. Do you get? So maybe that kind of helped a bit, particularly with like algorithms and data structures, but not much to be honest, because they're completely separate. They're completely separate fields, so it doesn't like particularly give you any advantages anyway. But as a lawyer, you're pretty much used to studying. Do you get? So the amount of studying you're also going to have to do to like learn how to do stuff in tech isn't like you're pretty much used to that. So maybe that could be an advantage. And also like in law, you're always learning stuff, doing research, like legislations will come out, statutes, case law, that kind of thing. So you always used to that kind of research, and that's something that happens like in tech world as well. So like new technologies come out every day, you have to learn how to do stuff on the fly. So maybe that could somewhat translate, but other than that, there weren't any particular challenges or particular advantages. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, thank you very much. So one thing I've observed right from the just concluded training is that so for the training we had people from different parts of the world enroll. So it was more like a 1 month free training. But many people have been given excuse of I can't afford to pay for courses online. This tech school is collecting money and I can't afford it. Or I just want something different. I don't want I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and I just want to hear from tech professionals, right? So we had about 40 to 50 tech professionals from across the world, mostly from the UK, Canada, and Nigeria, that for the period of 1 month, we're training people for free. We had about 6,000 people who enrolled. And one thing we noticed was that when the program started, we had out of the 6,000, not 6,000 at first, right? Those that fully registered were just about close to 3,000, right? Others were just joining from probably someone shared the link with them, right? We noticed that the enthusiasm at first was quite feeling because the numbers were quite like reasonable numbers were joining the classes, right? So over the time, over time, like third week, fourth week, the numbers declined drastically. So there's one thing I've noticed with this team. So I was talking to a friend also in the Web3 space. He's the co-founder of one of the largest Web3 company here in Nigeria, and he was saying something that at one point in time they also had something like a way to they had like a workspace in the Koi where they bring in people who want to learn and Web3 and all that. And the outcome was for many people are looking for those that would spoon feed them, like they're not ready to put in the work, and that's why at some point they had to like stop the whole free stuff. And from this free program we had in February, we also saw a similar trend where the enthusiasm at first was quite much. I mean, yeah, we saw the enthusiasm, but over time there was a decline. So the question from this is it a question? I don't see it as a comment. I just see it as a comment and more like an encouragement to those on this live channel that it still boils down to you, right? Many people are looking for someone that will spoon feed them, that would more like baby them through the process, and at some point they will just not want to put in the work, right? If these people you are seeing on the live stream now, they put in the work, that's why they are where they are today. So if you are not ready to put in the work at at some point you get frustrated, then understand the reason why you are doing what you are doing, right? Understand why you are where you are, such that when the challenges come, you'll be able to more like see yourself finding your way out of it, because you won't give up knowing that, oh, this is why I got into this in the first place, right? So this question is from Fola in Abuja. I don't know if Fola is a guy or a lady, and the question is for Moyosore. um is he or she is asking, what is a day in the life of a project manager? Yeah, Moyo, that's your
Okay,
question from Fola.
okay. Thank you
What
very much,
is a
Fala.
in the
Thank you
life
for
of a
the
project
question. I mean, if you cannot manage yourself, how are you to manage people and manage projects? So it all starts with you personally as an individual knowing how to manage yourself. And this is highly dependent on your soft skills, your emotional intelligence, like I said earlier, your interpersonal skills. You have to be able to manage your own personal emotions in order for you to manage people and a project at large. Your interpersonal skills, your intrapersonal skills, your communication skills are very important. I mean, because it's the way that you talk to yourself, you will talk to other people around you as well. So it's all self management. How does my day start? Basically, I mean, as a project manager, I find it personally hard to sleep. So I have a very poor sleeping schedule, if I'm allowed to put it that way. I'm quite nocturnal, so I'm awake most times during the night, and I always use the opportunity to cover as much grounds as possible. Because me being a nocturnal person, I function very well at night, where everyone is quiet, the whole scenery is peaceful. So most of the times I'm awake during the night, and I try to cover as much grounds as I can for my forthcoming day. It starts, say, around 3, 4. First thing I do is I like to take sort of, I don't want to call it meditation, but I just like to be in my quiet space, try to project on how my day is going to be. And I just basically try to stay quiet, start my day out by trying to stay quiet, trying not to think, trying not to read, trying not to imagine everything. I am just quiet. Some call it meditation. For me, it's just being at peace with myself. And I'm taking deep breaths. At that point in time, I mean, I'm not perfect in it. My mind sort of wades off into how my day is going to be. I try and project my day and think of how I want my day to go. Say 5, 6 thereabout. I'm up, have a shower. While having a shower, my mind is thinking about my project. If I'm being truthful with you, oh, where did I stop off yesterday? What were the things I sort of planned to achieve yesterday? Did I achieve it? I mean, at that same time, I'm taking my shower, sort of doing my mind meditations as well. I like to sort of pray while having a shower, sort of cleanse myself at the same time. At that point in time as well, my mind is waiting like away. Oh, did I talk to Dewale about this? Did I send this document to Adewale? What's pending? What's the status of this? What's the status of that? So like I'm waiting in between doing water meditation and thinking about the things that I did yesterday. Oh, what did I do that wasn't too perfect? Did I talk to Dewale the right way? Was I empathetic enough with my team? Was I too aggressive? I mean, sort of just go through the previous day and the focus for today as well. Most times I work hybrid. in my current organization. So I'm home Mondays, Tuesdays, and I go to the office Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. I'm at home as well. So on a typical Wednesday when I'm going to the office, I mean, jumping in my car, driving to the office, on my journey to the office as well, sort of doing my meditations as well, trying to stay at peace with myself, trying to know the actions I'll be, I mean, taking on that day. I probably get to the office, say 7:30 thereabout. When I get to the office, I try to take my deep breaths as well, stay calm, stay as peaceful with myself as much as I can. Open my laptop, say 7:45 thereabouts, go through my sent mails from yesterday. So I mean that sort of gears me towards the things that I should be doing for that day as well. I go through my Jira board, go through my Azure board, depending on what role I'm playing at that point in time. If I'm being a Scrum Master or a project manager at that point in time with the organization, because I sort of play the two roles in the organization I work with today. So it's going through my Jira board, updating my tickets, uh, um, seeing some updates I probably missed out from yesterday as well. By 8, I'm in a skill daily scrum session with my team members. They're telling me their impediments. They're giving me feedback on what they did for the previous day, where they're having challenges and they need me to resolve it. That finishes maybe 8:30 thereabouts. By 9, I'm probably jumping into various meetings, various sessions. I usually take my breaks like 12 o'clock thereabout, take about 30 minutes break, try to play with my team members. I mean, for me, play is very important. And I see the work environment as play for me. And if you remember what I said earlier, me being a scrum master is an opportunity for me to come and express a particular side of myself in a different environment than which I'll probably be called upon. So for me, it's usually play. And me being a project manager, one of the main things I do is manage my team. I try to create a relationship with every member of my team. I try to understand them in the office and outside of the office, try to have relationships with my various team members within the office and outside of the office. Spend about 1 hour from 12 to 1, just basically playing with my team members. Guy, how far now? How was your day, man? How's your girlfriend? Do you understand? How's your wife? How the kids? Just play around with my team members in between. Moyo, man, this girl that I like, I mean, I've been thinking about her, and I'm like, she not because of woman, my work what you supposed to do, you never do. Sit down, let's talk about it. And he's like, oh, Moyo, I really don't know how to talk to this girl. It will shock you how much just having certain conversations with your team member brings progress to the whole team at large. And
Yeah.
I don't know how to talk to this girl. When I pick up the phone and I call this girl, I get scared. I don't know how to express myself. And we sit down and I'm just like, oh, okay, you know what, do this, do that. And he's like, okay, Moya, I hear you. But maybe tomorrow he comes and he's like, oh, Moya, that thing where you tell me, say, make I do, I'm going to walk. Oh, man, thanks, man. And in that vein, in that light, I'm like, guy, how far now? This my development timeline, man. You don't they exceed or you don't they impede my timeline. So when you go, I mean, when are you developing this thing for me? And the next thing you know is, Moya, don't worry. Because of that advice you gave me yesterday, today, I'll make sure I finish it. So I mean, so basically that's it for me. In between work hours as well, I try to do something else. I do a bit of Instagram. I mean, for like 30 minutes. I use it as an opportunity to relax as well, take my mind off from the work environment. And I mean, yeah, work usually closes by 5. Most times, I really don't just stand up and head out of the office. Most times, I still stay back. I mean, have conversations with various members of my team, try and bond with my team, know the various status of deliveries, how can I support. Most times I'm either there removing one impediment or the other. I mean, as a Scrum Master project manager, that's like the bulk of what we do. Manage the team, try and remove impediments and blockers as much as we can, escalate when need be, I mean, that's about it for me. That's a typical day in my
Wow.
life.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for the details, right? I got one or two things from what you said. It's beyond work, right? Try and be empathetic to your colleagues. So one thing I can say about Moye while I was working with him was that when it comes to following up was very good with that, right? I remember when I see Moyo's call or Slack message, I'll be like, oh my god. So when it comes to following up, he knows his job and he does his job, right? And that's one good thing. And for him also, it's beyond work, as he has said, relating with people beyond work. And you'll be surprised, as you have said, sometimes what's delaying your team member from delivering their tasks might just be one challenge or the other that they're facing. And you being empathetic enough gives that advantage because you're able to more like you're able to remove that barrier that is standing in their way of them delivering the task. So yeah, thank you, Moyo, for that answer. And thank you for also being good at what you do. Yes, so this next question is for Mofe Alfred from Ibadan. Alfred is asking that what does it feel like working in the international space? How is it different working in Nigeria? Let me repeat the question. What does it feel like working in the international space? And how is it different working in Nigeria?
That's a very good question. Um, to be honest, I feel like I mean, there are similarities, to be honest. Yeah, because I work with very talented people in Nigeria. Yeah. I also work with very talented people where I am currently. So in that there are also similarities. So it's not as if, oh, once you leave Nigeria, oh my god, like the quality of talent is like insane. Do you get? So it feels a lot similar to how it was in Nigeria. One other thing I would say about how it feels is there's a lot more, will I say, infrastructure for you to actually do the stuff you want to do. You get? In Nigeria, there's a kind of mentality where like someone has to do everything. Do you get? If I'm hiring an engineer, that engineer has to write front end, has to write back end. That engineer have also deploy. If I need QA, the engineer will do the QA. If I need that engineer will also do it. Do you get? But abroad, typically you have there's a clear delineation in like roles. Do you get? As a front end engineer, you're never nobody expects you to go and write a backend like write backend service or anything like that. No one expects you to do QA. Nobody expects you to deploy. There's that kind of freedom. You can actually like do one specific thing and do it exceptionally well. So that is one thing I would say. And also, there's one thing I mentioned is the infrastructure to support you. There are people that their job is to make sure that you are doing your best at work. Yeah. So I think that would be like one major difference. Also, there are the common things that you typically do not have to think about. For example, you don't have to worry about lights or you don't have to worry about internet or things like that. Like things that I guess they probably take it for granted. Like I take for granted internet or anything. Like it's not genuinely an issue for me. Okay, I don't think about it. Right? I don't think about lights. I don't think about anything of that. Like it doesn't affect me. But in working in Nigeria, those were real challenges for me. Particularly when I was working at home, you use MTN switches. I was using Spectranet when I was in Nigeria. Spectranet showed me Shaggy. So like those are the things that I had to deal with in Nigeria. Like I didn't necessarily have to deal with them working like international and everything. So I think apart from like the supporting infrastructure, it's pretty much the same thing as working in the Nigerian space or whatever, because Nigeria is working like really talented people and like very in a broad range of problems and stuff like that. And the same thing I'm doing here. So that's just it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mofe. That's very valid. That's very true. In Nigeria, we have to face the reality of the whole lights, boha, and internet, right? MTN is showing us Pepe now. I don't know, many of our Nigerian audience can relate with the fact that when you try to subscribe now, you're just like spending 1 hour trying to figure out which data plan is the best one for you because they've changed the whole stuff, right? So I think that that's the advantage. I remember I was working as I last year. I was working with earlier last year also or late 2020. I was working with a UK company too, and I came from this background of do the back end, I do the DevOps, I do the security perhaps things, and I just realized that I just have to do my back end, and there's someone already waiting to do the rest. I was like, oh, is it the way things are here? I think I want to be here. So yeah, I get that, right. That structure is in place. Everybody there are separation of concerns. You're supposed to do this, you do this. You're supposed to do that. So you're not trying to do like four people job at the same time. So at some point, I felt bored because I was kind of like, oh, I wasn't used to that lifestyle. But yeah, it's still cool knowing that it's different out there. Alfred, I'm sure he answered your question. He did justice to your question. So Kabaro have been dropping a question over and over and over again. And so, yes, let me just show his question for Moyosore to answer. So, he's asking that have you ever reached a point of giving up during your early self learning stage? Oh, I think the question is for Mofetu, right? That
Oh,
have you ever reached a point of giving up during your early self-learning stages, and if so, how did you overcome? So this question is very important because during the free training I've had like 4 or 5 people ask the same question, right? So if this question is coming again, and I think I answered some of them, but this question is coming again and I feel like it will be good for them to hear from someone else. So for maybe that are not able to join the live session, I'm sure they will go and watch the video once we are done, so they will be able to find the answer to that question there. So the question is for Mufe.
okay. So the first part of the question is yes. Uh, like coming from one background to a completely separate one. Yes, because it's something that's completely new. Obviously going to be the initial struggle to learn new stuff. And one thing that's really messed with me is because I was learning by myself. And when you learn by yourself, there's a limit to what you can do. You get. So I would watch videos, do courses, and then I'll go online and people were talking about different things. How to implement this one, how to implement that one. I think to myself that wait, though, I never heard of this thing before. You get. Does that mean that everything I've been learning so far, everything just sakamaji or like you get? So that those were things that really affected me. Do you get? But as to how I overcame it, it's you just have to believe in yourself that there's nothing that I don't want to sound like all those aspire to perspire kind of vibes or anything. But the truth of the matter is nothing one thing I've come to realize is nothing is yeah. Like the only thing is as an outsider, it might sound extremely complicated because you don't understand the terminology behind these specific things. You get you don't understand that's because you're an outsider looking in. But nothing is like complicated in this world, like generally. If someone is talking about something I don't understand, I just remind myself that, oh, look, because I'm an outsider, you get like if I actually dedicate the time and effort to actually learning this thing, I would be able to overcome that or learn that specific thing as well. So that was the thought I had in my mind that kept pushing me, regardless of how I felt or if I felt I wasn't making progress. I just needed to keep reminding myself that oh look, oh, other people have done this thing. People that are doing it don't have two heads, so if I can do it. And that was pretty much how I overcame it.
Oh, thank you so much for that answer. Thank you. I think our time is almost up, and I'll just give opportunity for those that have questions to drop in the chat. So I have a question from Fumi in the UK, and the question is for Moyosore. Um, yes. So please, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go and do that so you can get information as to whatever updates we are sharing, the next webinar, and all that. So this question is from Fumi in the UK, and she's asking, what strategies help you land your first job in tech? Now, wow, people are asking
What
for cheat
strategies?
code strategies. Okay, I don't know. The questions are, I don't know. People are asking for cheat code.
Okay, so just like Wally said, kindly follow the YouTube page, Bright Flare Tech Academy, Bright Flare Technologies. Please follow the YouTube page. It's very important that you do that. Thank you very much. All right. For me,
Thank you.
thank you very much for your question. So for me, yeah, I was lucky in my earlier life. I met this very wonderful lady, and she told me that the skill of the future is emotional intelligence. She said it wasn't IQ or EQ. She said it was emotional intelligence. And for me, I can argue that that's one of the best advices I ever got. Emotional intelligence is the most important, if I'm allowed to say, one of the most important skills you can ever have. That's the only strategy you need, emotional intelligence. How do you make about emotional intelligence is empathy. It's empathy, being able to put yourself in other people's shoes and try and feel what they are feeling. That's the only, that's one of the ways you can connect with people, understanding that this person is a human being like me. This person is experiencing various challenges the same way I'm experiencing various challenges. It makes the whole work easy. You get people to do your biddings even when they don't want to do it. Emotional intelligence. That's the major strategy. And if everything I've been saying since morning, if there's anything if you've picked up nothing, please listen to me now. Emotional intelligence. That's all the skill you need. You see, once you're able to hone that skill, once you're able to sharpen that skill, you can survive in whatever environment you find yourself. So for me, the strategy I used was emotional intelligence. And this falls under soft skills. It's not even about writing the code, it's not about being able to use Jira, understanding Kanban, understanding Scrum. Work on your soft skills. Learn how to communicate with people. Learn how to be empathetic. Learn time management. Learn interpersonal skills. Learn intrapersonal skills. Learn um, what other soft skill do we have? Learn time management. That's all you need. Great to go for me. So for me, please remember what I said. Hone your soft skills, sharpen your soft skills, work on your emotional intelligence, be an empathetical person, know love, spread love, understand love, and you will survive in whatever environment you find yourself. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I love that answer. Thank you very much, Mayor. Sorry. Emotional intelligence. It will help. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's very, very important. That's important. Yeah. Very, 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 very important. Thank you for that answer. As I said, our time is almost up. But I still have a few questions. Let me see if we can see one or two before we round up. Okay, so this question is for Mofe. This person is asking that as a software engineer, what certification or training program will you recommend? Wow. Okay.
No, that I don't recommend any certification, to be honest. If it's software engineering you want to do, I don't recommend any. I don't recommend any certification. To be honest, start writing the code. Like genuinely, that is the major advice I can
Exactly.
give. There's no set. What, like, I feel like people look at certifications as, oh, validation to show that, oh, look, I can do these specific things. But to be honest, that's so if you are doing software engineering, now if you are doing other stuff, maybe IT, networking, cybersecurity, there are certain certifications that can help because that's how the industry in that place is structured. I'm guessing for product management as well. But software engineering, there's no certification. Write the code, build projects. That's pretty much it. And you should also be very vocal about what you are building or anything you are working on. Be very vocal. Don't try and do there's the traditional approach where you follow a tutorial, then you build to do app or okay like that. Those things like dime a dozen. Try and build something. I won't say solves a real world challenge because that's what everybody says. It's not that easy. It's sweet to say, but it's not that easy. But try to build something that is interesting. Doesn't have to be interesting to like everybody, but interesting to you. You get something that you would use. I think that's like the best thing that I can use to say. Build it and then show it out. You get write an article, make a LinkedIn post, do that kind of thing. You get. But certifications for software engineering at all, there's no need for certification or anything like that.
All right. Thank you very, very, very much. I think we can still take one more question. Um, this will be from Moyosore. Okay. So this person is asking. I think I saw the question here. This is from Adeniyi. He's asking that does self-paced learning have any advantage over structured learning, or which do you prefer and recommend? This question. Wow.
Okay.
So Adeni is asking, does self-paced learning have any advantage over structured learning, or which do you prefer and recommend?
Okay, so I mean, different people, different strokes for different folks. First of all, knowing
Exactly.
yourself
Exactly.
is very very important. Knowing yourself, I mean, for some certain type of people, they're very disciplined and they're able to start something and see something through. So for people like that, I can advise you to do self-paced learning. But for someone like me who is very restless, I'm sure you've seen me throughout the session. I've not been able to just be still in one place. I'm constantly moving. I I get easily distracted, and obviously this may sometimes affect my discipline. I'm not saying being restless is a negative thing, but I mean, it has its own pros and its cons. So for someone like me, previously when I was much younger, I would have chosen structured based learning. But now I'm older, I'm able to put more control to myself as a person. I'm able to manage myself. I mean, earlier I said I was a very restless person. I'm able to manage that aspect of who I am. And now I'm more of a self-paced learning because also I'm involved in other things as well. I have other interests of mine as well. So it may be hard to fit uh, that structured learning settings into my current lifestyle at this moment. So for me, it's more of self-paced learning. So I think it's highly dependent on who you are as an individual, how your daily routine is structured. I mean, that is more of a measure to determine if you'll be going for self-paced learning or structured paced learning. They both have their perks, they both have their cons. It's highly dependent on who you are as an individual.
Wow, thank you so much, Mayor. Sorry. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. In case you don't know, these big men are busy people, and more like they spare out time from their busy schedule to talk to us about how far they've come in their career. Not everybody can do that. And it's great not just for the fact that they are excelling in their field, but they are helping others also um, learn from their story and also put in their own work. Yeah, so I'll just before we end, I would just want to ask if there are any last words from um, Mofe and last words from Moyosore before we end the session.
Okay, so
So,
last
any
words.
words to
So for me, last words is I understand that it can be like the whole thing can be like very challenging to be honest. But truth of the matter is it's not difficult. I won't say it's not difficult. It's very doable. I'm not going to lie. As long as you're willing to put in the work, Yeah, like it's very doable, and that's anybody that has known me from like even when I was in semicolon. Because there's some semicolon people here. They started displaying themselves. Yeah. But even on semicolon, I've always been saying the same thing that like it's not rocket science. Yeah. Like genuinely, if you're willing to put in the work, like you'd be able to do it. Like genuinely, that's just it. It only seems like very difficult or like, oh, this crazy complex thing because you're an outsider looking in. Yeah. And that's one of the first things that you need to overcome, like learning the terminology and all of that stuff. But trust me, it's not that difficult. Like if I can do it, I believe anybody else can do it. To be honest, yeah. So
All
yeah, that's it.
right. Yeah. So we are sorry.
Okay, so for me, thank you very much. For me, it's fear is but an illusion. Make sure whatever field you see yourself, make sure it's play. It's very important that whatever field in tech you decide to take up, it must be play. Because trust me, there are going to be trying times. You're going to be buying glasses, you're going to be taking medication for your eyes. It's very important. And if you're not enjoying what you're doing, you're going to get frustrated. So, whichever field you decide to choose in tech, make sure you are playing. Make sure it's an environment where you are playing and enjoying yourself. Play is the most important thing. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, everyone. It's been fun. Can we drop in the comment section thanking our bosses for spending our time for us? Thank you very much. So on as I said, the webinar is going to be twice in a month, and the goal is to bring tech professionals from all around the world. At least for the next session, we are bringing in someone from Portugal, then the other person from Nigeria. Here, she's a product manager, and in one of the leading fintech company. And for the Portugal person is a software engineer, I guess. Yeah. Then yeah, we are bringing people not just from software engineering space, cyber security, data analysis, data science, DevOps. Just we offer about 15 different programs in Brightfield Technologies, right? And from we'll make sure we get people from at least all the 15 before the year runs out. And yeah, we have a good news, but I'm not sure the good news until probably the next session. Um, as regarding this webinar. So once again, thank you everyone for joining. A big special thank you to our two speakers, Mofe and Moyosore, for joining this session. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And to everyone that joined this session, a lot of people were coming in and going out and coming in and going out. And I got DMs from some people that they would watch the video after the stream. Thank you everyone for joining, and see you all in our next session. So, if you want to get more details as regarding what's going on in Brightfield Technology, you can visit our website www.brightfieldtechnologies.com, or follow us on any of our social media platform: Instagram, Twitter, and Telegram, I guess. So, for some reasons, our Instagram account was suspended like 2 weeks ago without any clear reason as to why. We've tried to appeal, but we've not gotten any positive response yet. In the meantime, we've created like a backup page, which I will encourage you to follow, brightflare_tech. And yeah, that's it. So they've shared their last words, and oh, sorry, like their last advice to you guys. And yeah, so see you guys in the next session. I will communicate that through our various platforms. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you. Have a good night rest.
All right. Bye, everyone.